Welcome to Workshop Wednesday, where we're going to talk about is consent killing conversions. Welcome, my name is Julie Brody. I am the Director of Measurement for MeasurementMarketing.io and been building actual dashboards for a really long time and eventually became a measurement marketer and started teaching measurement marketing and still have quite a few clients that myself and our amazing team of instructors like to help and have all their measurement for them. So which means we have lots of different experience and means we've been setting up consent for our clients and for ourselves for quite some time now. And we have some insights that we want to be able to share with you today. So let's go ahead and get started. Is consent killing conversions? And just let you know, what you are about to learn will set you apart from everyone else. Everyone else, and maybe you right now, are kind of freaking out about this whole consent thing and the fact that you're having a lot less data and you're not seeing everything and you don't have the visibility that you once did. And it's stressful. It is, honestly, especially for anyone that might be a little bit OCD and a little bit type A, which we all have those tendencies. It is extremely stressful. But what I'm about to tell you, that you don't have to be stressed. You are going to learn something that is going to help you unlock and kind of level up a whole lot faster than everybody else. Eventually, everyone will learn this, but you're going to learn it first right now. And guess what it starts with? It starts with pizza. It really does. So let's go ahead and check it out and see what in the world we're talking about. We have our handy dandy Lucidchart here, and here in our example, to help you kind of learn this concept that's going to help you unlock your potential, is where we have an example of you have a party and you have 100 guests where you need to provide pizza for. And maybe you take a poll and you see that, hey, 50% want pepperoni and 50% want cheese. That was your poll with 100 guests. Maybe it's a school party, maybe it's a work gathering, maybe it's a home party, whatever it is. You have 100 guests, 50 and 50. It's 50% difference. Then let's say you're having a smaller gathering and you have only 50 guests, so half the audience of what you did before. You don't need to poll everybody again, but you know what they did last time. So what you're going to do is you're just going to use what you did before and know that it was about 50-50. And so now you're getting about 25 servings of pepperoni and 25 servings of cheese pizza because that's what worked before when you had the bigger audience, the bigger guest list. Now you kind of probably see where we're going with this. Guess where we're going with this? Yes. And then let's say you have 10 guests. So it's a smaller gathering. You have 10 guests and you don't want to bother polling. Maybe it's a surprise party and you don't want to poll anybody. You don't want to ask. And so you're going to do your best guess and you're saying like, okay, when we had 100, it was, 50% cheese and 50% pepperoni. So let's go ahead and do that again. And so once again, you are doing 5 servings of pepperoni and 5 servings of cheese for your 10 guests. And so that is our example with pepperoni. And most of you are probably already kind of thinking like, okay, I'm picking up what she's putting down and I'm already unlocking the thing that she's, that's going to help me really be ahead of everybody else. So when it comes to online conversions, you know, before consent, I like to call it BC, before consent, when we had 1,000 users on the page, and again, a 50% conversion rate, that would mean we would have 5,000 conversions. We would know if we got 10,000 people to see the page, we would have 5,000 conversions. We would just know that over and over and over again, BC, before consent. We would have that. We would know that. But what would happen if consent all of a sudden made it so we can only see a fraction of our users? We're keeping our numbers really, really simple. And so let's say if we only have 10% of our traffic, which would be bananas, absolute bananas that you would only get 10% of your traffic, but just keeping our numbers nice and easy. What would we do if we had 1,000 users? Well, we would assume we would still have a 50% conversion rate because that's what worked before, and then we would have 500 conversions. And then going on again to a smaller audience, another, so this is basically be 1% of your original audience, and then you would have a 50% conversion rate, and you would be able to see again your conversions here. You'd be able to do that. So then how does this help you know if consent is killing conversions? Well, as long as you have your consent and everything set up properly, your user journey is going to work the same way it did BC, before consent. It's going to work the same way. Our audience, everybody is used to seeing these awesome pop-ups of all the things lately. Like, it is not anything new. Like, maybe a few years ago when it was brand new, it might have interrupted some user journeys and stuff, but we're so used to it that it doesn't stop us from consuming the material and going through the journey and becoming a conversion. So if you had a 50% conversion rate before, you're going to have it again. If you and or you should, as long as nothing else is changing and all that stuff. So what does this do? What can you unlock with this? Well, what you can know is, like, if you are paying for a certain number of users to get to your site, and you eventually find out, like, okay, I am paying for 5,000 users to get to my site. I'm going to get some colors here. We're going to do this. And so we're just going to say, we're going to move this over here. This is where we get to have fun and do things live. Here we go. So this is going to be FB traffic, or just paid. We're not going to say Facebook. We're going to say paid. You know you're paying paid traffic. And let's say it's 5,000 users that are coming into this right here. And so we know that only about a quarter of them are going to show up. But we know we're going to get a show up inside your GA. But we know all 5,000 are seeing the page. So what can we discern from that? Well, that means of the 5,000, we probably actually have 2,500 conversions, not necessarily just the 500. So again, even though you're only seeing less, your page is still performing. You're still able to kind of make those connections from what you're actually sending to the page, what your analytics platform is seeing, whether it's Google Analytics, Microsoft Clarity, whatever it is, what they're actually seeing and what they're actually seeing as a conversion. You can do some backwards math and figure out, okay, because we know a quarter of them show up, you can, and then do your math with that. Same thing if you only have 100 users, you can go through and figure out your math with that. And this was obviously just some sort of opt-in conversion, but if you figured out purchases, if you knew of these 5,000 conversions, that let's say half would take an upsell or something like that, and then obviously you can still consider half would take it here, half would take it here. And so even though you're seeing less data, you are still able to take action and make decisions to improve your marketing. So again, coming up to our pizza example, even though we have less guests and we don't have a poll to talk to people, we can use the same conversion rate that we've had before that we know is solid, and then be able to kind of make those decisions and still serve the audience that way. So maybe you already kind of knew that consent wasn't killing conversions, but this is a great analogy for you to be able to use for your clients, or maybe anybody else that quite doesn't understand like what's going on with consent and how it's killing your conversions. You can be like, actually, no, it's not. And you can use the pizza analogy and use that to help explain that. And they will probably get in to be like, oh, I totally get it. So we're not actually losing conversions at all. We just have less visibility. But because you're an amazing marketer, you're still going to be able to make decisions and take action on the data that we do have. So to answer the question, is consent killing conversions? No, consent is not killing conversion. It is just not letting you have access to all of your data. It's not giving you the visibility you once had, but because you're an excellent marketer, you now know how to level up and use this to get ahead from everybody else who doesn't quite get this yet. So go ahead and keep leveling up your measurement marketing services, and I'm sure your clients will appreciate it. So what was your one thing as we go through this particular training? As you know, we always recommend you do the one thing, so don't try to grab everything we're throwing at you. But today it was basically one thing. So I hope it was that the pizza analogy is something you can use to explain consent, or maybe it finally unlocks something for you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We'd love to have you back with us in the next workshop. And if you like the strategy, if you like the simple training and you want more of it, we do have a free course that goes over all of everything you're looking at here, which is called our Measurement Marketing Framework, that again will help you unlock more of your measurement marketing potential. It's a free course. If you want to know more about it or all of the other courses and interested in joining our academy, just head over to measure.tips/get academy and you can find out more on which option would be best for you. Thanks so much for joining, and we'll see you next time.